I asked you guys before the question, why do we exist? What is our purpose in life? And that is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. So the question here is, what is worship? Most people might think, as soon as they hear this ayah, does that mean I have to stand and pray all my life? Is that why Allah created me? And that is because they have a misunderstanding of the term worship. Now, worship means everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and accepts, from actions and sayings, whether they be internal in your heart or something that you do externally. So you smiling, the simple act of smiling towards your wife, or the simple act of smiling to your children, is a form of charity. It is something that Allah loves. So it is a form of worship. Everything that we do that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do is a form of worship. So apply that to your life in general. If you go to work and your intention in your heart is to support your family because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you to do so, then everything you do becomes a form of worship. You at work becomes a ibadah, a form of worship that you are getting rewarded for. If you go to the gym to exercise so that you stay healthy, you take care of this blessing that Allah has given you, your body, then it becomes a form of worship because that is your intention. And if you apply that to everything in our life and take all the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what he taught us, you can live from the moment you wake up till the moment you sleep in complete worship. So when we look at that and we look at what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to teach us, he spent 23 years teaching us a complete way of life. You following in that sunnah, living your life from day till night in the way the Prophet ﷺ taught us, becomes a form of worship. As long as your intention is there in your heart. And this should automatically ring a bell that I need to learn more. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ spent 23 years in this da'wah, teaching us about Islam, teaching us how to live, teaching us how to trade, how to treat our children, our families, our neighbors. So why are we so ignorant? Why do we not take the time to learn these things so that we live in the way that Allah wanted us to live? And if we were to do this and apply this in our daily life, and we are in complete worship all the time, then we are in tawheed all the time. And that's coming back to the ayah where the Sahabi Abdullah ibn Abbas, who was one of the greatest Sahaba and one of the greatest interpreters of the Quran, and I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. He said, worship here means إِلَّا لِيُوَحِّدُونَ, to have tawheed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is to single Allah out in every form of worship that you do. It is to single Allah out in His names, in His attributes, that it is only to Him and no one else. It is to single Allah out in all of His actions. That is tawheed, and that is the purpose and the reason we are created, and what we will be tested on the Day of Judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Allah does not forgive that anyone associate a partner with Him, but He forgives everything else as He wills. So what does that tell you? That is the only sin, if you die upon it, which is shirk, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forgive. And everything else Allah can forgive if He wills. So our purpose in this life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Do that which He obeys and leave that which He forbids. And to do that you need knowledge. You need to understand your deen. You need to strive to learn as much as you can. And that is through knowing who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is firstly. And then knowing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid out for you as a way of life and following in it. It is not easy, but Allah will make it easy for those who strive.